Okay, today we're going to talk about the second Yom Tov and the status of second Yom Tov today. It is known that the reason that we celebrate second Yom Tov is that in antiquity the new month was declared by witnesses, and the rabbis from Israel would send a message to the diaspora through torches that they would light on top of the tallest mountains. This way they would be able to send the message to the whole diaspora within a couple of hours. But when this system was disrupted, they moved to sending the word by messengers, which of course couldn't get to all parts of the diaspora on time. So because of the doubt, they didn't know when to celebrate the holidays, they would do 2 days. Technically, they should have done this for Kippur as well, but they had pity on us, Baruch Hashem, so we don't do Kippur 2 days. Already 1,500 years ago, the calendar was established, and we don't rely on witnesses anymore. We know exactly when each month is going to start and the holidays. And there were voices asking, questioning whether we should go back to 1 day. They said that we might be in a situation where we won't be able to calculate the calendar, the knowledge will be forgotten, or we won't be able to spread the word so fast when we make the new month. But in recent generations, we have both the means of communication and the knowledge available. So today I want to refer to two great rabbis, two great scholars who touched on this subject. One is Rabbi Moshe Hazan, who lived in the 19th century, 1808 to 1867, and the second is Rabbi David Shlushi Badel Haim Ovadia, who is still alive, is the chief rabbi of Netanya. Rabbi Moshe Hazan was a prolific author. He was born in Smyrna, in Turkey, in 1808, and passed away in Sidon, Lebanon, in 1867. In between, he served 5 years each as a rabbi of the communities of Rome, the Greek island of Corfu, and Alexandria in Egypt. Polyglot, brilliant person, wrote many books, and also was a defender of traditional Judaism. He wrote a book called Kedushat Yom Tov, in which he defends the second Yom Tov against the Reform movement who wanted to change it. And he says almost very, very absolutely that you cannot get rid of the second Yom Tov, but then he alludes to the possibility of a change, and that's what he says. I will speak with unabashedly. If the rabbis would have the credibility and people would listen to them, he alludes to the fact that people don't listen to the rabbis because of the divisions between the rabbis. Each one has his followers, so each one sticks with his rabbi and doesn't trust the other rabbi. But if we would have this credibility, we should all gather to one place. I will translate directly without reading the Hebrew. The great scholars in all over the globe, those who are knowledgeable in Talmud, in Halakha, and also in general studies and in current affairs, those people who understand the community and understand their needs. And those rabbis should be discussing the issues that are problematic because of Eva v'Sinat Habriyot, because they breed animosity between Jews and non-Jews, or amongst Jews, or things that could cause embarrassment to people, or great losses to people, or because of there is a great necessity that depends on changing times, changing places. Many of these issues, Rabbi Hazan says, are not biblical halachot. They are a secondary degree of prohibition or severity. And he says all these matters deal with people who have work, who have families that they have to take care of. They can't skip from one job to another, and not everything is accessible. And they need solutions, real solutions to real problems. And he says there is a solution. We have to provide it. And he explains how he had the idea of putting all these lenient possibilities together in one book, and gather the rabbis from all over the world and have a conference on trying to get it done. He passed away before he was able to carry it out, but his relative, Rabbi Hazan of Mitzrayim, Raphael Bechor Hazan, tried to do it in 1903 in Poland. It didn't work out. And Rabbi Hazan continued here to say this: Kol megamatam, all the intention of the rabbis should be to bring people to inherit not only the world to come, but also this world. He says, God gave us this world to enjoy it, and we should not put upon ourselves restrictions and prohibitions. He says, in some details, we should just close our eyes and ignore the what we consider to be transgressions, but rather use the rules that our forefathers and masters taught us. Mutaf shiu shogegin. It's better for people to be, anyway they're going to keep doing it, so don't tell them it's forbidden. Or, we cannot push people to a level of extreme observance, because eventually if we do that, what will happen is people are going to abandon religion. And he says, this is the way the great leaders behaved from the time we stood on Har Sinai. The great rabbis, he says, they are like angels in the sense that they take the way of pleasantry and of politeness, leading the people with patience, with reverence of God, that if you need to cover up for something, you just let it go, because we look at the greater goal of keeping people in the fold. Rabbi Hazan concluded that you cannot change Yom Tov Sheni Shel Galuyot, but that was 150 years ago. It was published in 1855. And recently, Rabbi David Shlush, who saw both the development of technology and communication and the exact process that Rabbi Hazan predicted of people abandoning religion because of the extreme restriction and limitations that they have, Rabbi Shalush explains that the Yom Tov Sheni is a minhag, it's a practice, it's not a takana that requires the great Sanhedrin or the great rabbinical court in Yerushalayim to override. And he says the following: לפי זה בימינו שמדי שנה נוסעים רבבות ישראל מארץ ישראל לחו"ל ומחו"ל לארץ ישראל במטוסים. People travel by the thousands from Israel abroad and vice versa. They meet each other on the second day of Yom Tov. For one group, it is a day where they could work, they could eat hametz. For the other group, they do kiddush, they do Yom Tov, they don't work, they definitely don't eat hametz. Says if all the rabbis would have gathered to override the takana or the minhag of celebrating a second Yom Tov, they would be able to do that, because now everybody knows the calendar. People don't even calculate the calendar. You just have the set-up calendar. You have a website like Hebrew Calendar that give you the calendar to eternity. And we have the means of communication where we could deliver the message of, even if we restore the witnesses, we could deliver messages within seconds to all over the world, even to Mars. And therefore he says that it is within the power of the rabbis, if they gather and if they come together, to do that. He says, what do we do now for people who come from Israel to Israel from abroad to just celebrate the holidays? Should they do 1 day or 2 days? He says, even if they plan to go back to leave Israel, go back to wherever they come from in the diaspora, once they're in Israel, they have to celebrate only 1 day, regarding the prayers and tefillin. But לעניין מלאכה ונסיעות ואכילת חמץ בשמיני של פסח, ינהגו כאילו הם בחו"ל. Regarding doing work or traveling or eating hametz, they should keep 2 days. But have in mind that Rabbi Shalush also rules that you could use electricity on Yom Tov. So definitely on the second Yom Tov, when you're in Israel, if we're not talking about manual work, but rather maybe checking communication or stuff like that, or using electric transportation, there is room to discuss. However, regarding the future possibility of recalling the practice of second Yom Tov, he says this: מפני חטאינו אין בימינו כוח בית דין שחכמי התורה העומד בראש העם אפילו כי יפתח בדורו שכל העם יצייד להוראותיו. Because of our transgressions, the Beit Din today does not have the power, the authority, to have the people follow its directives. Not even like Yiftach Bedoro. Yiftach Bedoro is a statement that the rabbis make, saying, Yiftach Bedoro Kishmuel Bedoro. Yiftach, who was a judge and not of the highest level in terms of knowledge, he was the one who wanted to sacrifice his daughter as a vow. The Rabbi said, Yiftach bedoro kishmuel bedoro. The lowest knowledgeable person is just like Shmuel the prophet. Why? Because right now he is the leader of the generation and he knows what are the needs of the generations. But he has to have at least that type of leadership that what he says or what his Bedin says, the people will follow. Rabbi Shlush says today we don't have it. Why? The great scholars of our generations, some of them are engaged in abstract deliberations with no practical implication because they're afraid to make any decision that will have impact on anyone. And the rest, they just copy what was written and said by their predecessors without any initiative and any independence of dealing with real problems as they are today. Some only follow strict opinions, some only follow the lenient opinions. How was the light of halacha darkened and the Talmud became bereft and abandoned? The people, the nation is polarized. Even among observant people, one group will not eat the food that was marked kosher by the other group. One person would not eat at the house of another who was as observant as he is. He says, if this is the situation, how can we imagine all the rabbis getting together to change Yom Tov Sheni? So we'll have to keep doing it until Mashiach comes. But note...
Wait, question.
Well, yes.
How come nobody's talking about all the berachot that are...
He says... right.
But I mean, is that a reasoning also?
It's not a good reason. It's not. It is a good reason to recall it, but I think that the most pressing problem that he points to is that the rabbis don't see the necessity, don't see the problems. He doesn't say that it's impossible. He said, I don't see the rabbis getting together, but if they would get together, they have the power to do it. How will they be prompted to do it? Probably if the people would tell them. If you talk to people say, I cannot do Yom Tov Sheni. I could take a day off once a month, but to take it on the first day, and especially Rosh Hashanah, I took 2 days. 2 weeks later, I take 2 days. A week later, another 2 days. People say either, quit the job or come to work. People are in dire situations because of that. Other people, even though they are observant and they're willing to let go of their, or they're independent, they feel by the second day of Yom Tov, they feel depleted. They don't feel the spiritual excitement. We're losing more by doing that. So if the rabbis understand that and try to come to the plate and solve it, they're able. The problem is that when you tell them people have a problem, they say, we don't have a problem. I love 2 days of Yom Tov. And in that case, they would tell, just like that gentleman who told me, who used to work for the International Monetary Fund, when he said, I'm an observant Jew, and they said, so you're not in the right place, you should be a rabbi. For the rabbi, it's okay to keep 2 days. But the rabbi, like Rabbi Hazan and Rabbi Shalush, and Rabbi Yosef Meshaz before them, and many great rabbis throughout the generation said, they have to understand who are they working with, what are the needs of the people, rule for the people and not for themselves. So hopefully, at one point in the future, the rabbis will get together and will try to offer a solution. There are several possible solutions once they get there. Either they really recall the minhag, like Rabbi Shlush says, or they bypass it with a legal loophole. One could be that they would decide that anyone who owns real estate in Israel, even a small part, even a timeshare, is considered an Israeli. The other could be, they would say, let us expand the borders of the spiritual or religious Israel to other countries in the world. We now announce America to be Israel also for the Yom Tov Sheni. So this way they don't override Yom Tov Sheni. They just changed the name of Israel, made it bigger, and let's exclude a couple of regions where there are not many Jews, like Sub-Sahara and Alaska and maybe North Korea and something like that. So to have a Yom Tov Sheni. Or the other possibility is not to change it globally or nationally, but recommend to individuals and to specific communities to do it on their own. And that they will create the minhag as a grassroots movement from the ground up, that once you have enough people who do it, they will be able to change it according to the rule of Puk Hazeh Mai Amad Evar. Go and see what the people are doing. Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy your holiday. Pesach Kasher V'Sameach.